ready to introduce about our Win Wednesday community to women who I think embody what the connected CEO is, and that is someone who steps into the role of doing what they love and living with purpose, making an impact and income, and enjoying their freedom. And especially since this is a continuation of your first act, but moving in a different direction on the second
Yes,
act.
you
Do I have that
absolutely
right?
do. Absolutely.
Okay. I have questions here, and now I don't know what I did with them. Anyway, Lorrie is a fitness. I wouldn't say you're just yoga, but
Yeah.
I know that's a huge part of who you are. Lorrie is a wife and mom of two
Hmm.
teen boys. She's a yoga, Pilates, stretch training instructor. She's been doing this for over 25 years. She's probably one of the few people that I know who has a degree and uses their degree
Yeah,
in what
so
they're doing.
true. That is, yeah.
So she has been living her passion for all of her life, I would say, a majority of your life. And healthy living has always been your passion. And you had a studio up until what, about a
Had a
year
stu
ago?
Yes,
Not even a
exactly. Had a
year.
studio
Yeah.
until officially until June, so just this past summer. And yeah,
Okay.
and so we're still using the studio. So I still teach 10 classes a week, and I'm in the studio, but we're renting now from the landlord as opposed to running a studio. Three of us now are separate businesses. So it's a different dynamic, again, a different business model. And there's been some really good things from that, and then also some learnings from that. So that's what's fun about you just go off in a different direction and learn some new things. So yeah, so I'm still doing absolutely still teaching, doing my yoga, but just in a little different way, not, let's say, tied down to a studio, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lorrie had decided to take her
Mm.
business online. And so that's why she's saying there's been some new challenges along the way. As we all know, and we've all struggled through this technology
Mm.
influence in our
Yeah.
lives is probably what I should say. You know, we've had to kind of bite the bullet and figure out some of the craziness, which our teens figure out very easily,
Yes.
and embarrass us a little bit when they come in and rescue us. But so tell me, what made you decide to take your business online?
I would say I was looking for more flexibility. That was number one. Some of my friends, colleagues now, we're at that stage. We're retiring. We're semi-retiring. One of my colleagues actually in the studio has uh, and she is, so I'm 54, she's 53 and has six grandchildren. So it's like, this is where I know, I'm just like, so we're the same age, but we're in different stages with our families, but we all wanted that flexibility. So in terms of being able to travel, being able to work for, I'm going to say, the months of the year that I want to work. My husband likes to travel as well. He has some more flexibility in work. So, looking at my schedule over the year, I'm able to say, well, I'm going to teach within the studio for, let's say, 8 weeks or 12 weeks. So I do 8 or 12 weeks.
Mhm.
And then I do an online course 3 times a year. So my hope now, and I do these courses seasonally, is that I will be able to just keep tweaking the courses and being able to look at my year and say, okay, in January and February, I'm here and I'm teaching. In February and March, I'm
Mhm.
online and I'm teaching, but I can be somewhere else when I'm online. I still have a 17-year-old at home as well. So this is his last year at home. So his schedule is important as well. And so I look at over
Mm-hmm.
the course of the year. So how does that work out? And I have one at university. So I can look at my year and I feel so much more control over the year. And in fact, I can plan over the course of a year and say, this is where we can travel. This is where, I might be going, helping the kids get back to university and settled in. And then Christmas is this, and then my course time is this. I'm going to zero in here. But the other thing is I could be traveling with the course. That's the biggest thing, right?
Right.
So let's say 2 weeks at the end of an
Mm-hmm.
8-week course, we think, oh, we need to be here, or it would be lovely to be here with an online course. You can do that. And that was just the
Mm-hmm.
flexibility by far was my biggest draw into going online. I still like the combination of having the studio because the kind of the hands-on with people, not kind of, it's the hands-on with my students as well, actually still helps and works really well with the
Mm-hmm.
course that I'm doing. So these two are really integrating quite nicely. But flexibility and actually being able to dig in a little bit more online. This is what I said to my students as they said, well, what do you mean you're going online? You're going to take all, like, what happens is our course going online, is our classes going online, and what does that mean? And I said, well, partly it means when you ask me a question in class, I don't take the whole or half the class to answer your question because I have all this stuff in my head that I want to share with all of you. Now I do it online through a course. So that was a big, okay. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, some different things for sure.
So you're actually, and so now that you've done this online, do you feel your audience is growing? You're impacting more
There's a
people?
couple of things that have happened with that. One is that the people that are taking my courses that are actually in the studio with me now too, they are finding, let's say they're taking one class a week, and then they're doing, right now I'm doing 40 days to fit, fearless and fabulous. So it started
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks ago. But what happens is when my students come into class, they're chatting about the course. The course is making their experience in class that much more because they are doing yoga with me live 4 days a week and being able to deal with some of the questions that they might have been too shy to ask in a class setting. But online, you are able to send a message, you're able to right in that moment in a live ask a question, which gives some people
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the online world, I totally get this, um, more comfortable. It just feels
Mm-hmm.
easier. It doesn't feel, as someone said, it doesn't feel like I'm interrupting a class. Online, it just feels etiquette wise, it's okay. So that was an interesting comment for sure. And then
Yeah.
clients that have been mine, I've got two in this course right now, over 20 years, but they no longer live in the community. So they're able to do
Oh,
this
wow.
course with me, and one of them, this is their third course, and they haven't been in the community for years. So I have a real mix of people that are, yeah, in my class, that have been out of my class, and a couple of people that don't know me at all, but that is my work, right? As where I am in my business right now, because my comfort level, my students and my clients, yes. My
Right.
discomfort, as we've
Right.
talked about, is going out there and speaking to people that don't know me yet. So that's part of, yeah, that's part of my journey, and I'm excited about it.
So, in since we spoke about that and have a little insight on that, talk to me about with knowing that you had that reservation of branching out and being online. Who are some of the people that you um, have used as mentors, or how did you really make that final decision? I'm going to go online.
I I would say somebody like that's who my first person that was online that I followed was Marie Forleo. And she
Uh-huh.
drew my attention. I don't even know how she ended up in my feed. You know, it's that kind of thing where you go, where did this come from? And then over and over, and then you really have to go to the universe and go, okay, this is coming at the time. This is coming at the time. So that was 2 years, maybe 3 years ago. I was over 50 at that point. And as again we've talked about, there is something about that 50. So whether it's 40 or whether it's 50 or maybe it's the decade transitions, we reassess and we think, okay, so what's next? So I think age-wise that happened in a positive way. That was not a negative for sure. And then it was okay. One was off to university at that point, and I started to think, okay, how can I be more flexible here? And then Marie came into my feed, and then I took B school with her, and that just led into
Mm-hmm.
then you meet people through that. So I would say for sure, um, doing this on your own, for me, I would say almost impossible for so many
Mm-hmm.
reasons. And one for me, I'm in Northern Ontario. I am in a remote area. And so to have like groups like yours, like Facebook groups that are specific to business, huge. Having a coach and Marie Forleo, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, I'm going to claim her as my official first business coach is how I would put her, because it's the first time I even thought about online as a possibility. So I followed her. That made connections to other people, I guess, in the space, and that whole discussion of, okay, so I have a coach. I'm coaching people. My coach has a coach, and my coach's coach probably has a coach. So then it was kind of an aha of,
Right.
okay, so I need to stay up with this coaching. I need to stay up with these groups. And when I start to feel overwhelmed and too into my, I'm not going to say problems, but challenges, right? That I just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I need to have that going out to a coach and a group. And for me, that was exciting though, because here's the other thing that started with Marie, I guess, just after 50. And it really opened up the world. There's no question, for sure. I never even thought of it. I never even thought take my classes online and meet people like you and I would never have met. If I hadn't have taken that course from Marie 3 years ago, I wouldn't have met you and a number of other people.
Right.
It at a time sometimes, when we leave our brick and mortar jobs, and we start to think about doing some different things, it can be isolating. It can be hugely
Mm-hmm.
isolating unless we are very proactive in it. For some of us more than others. I'm an introvert, believe it or not, as I'm here, but I very, very much am. So I could hunker down in my cave, Joanne. I could just hunker down in there with my issues and challenges. But that was my biggest, all right, let's go. Aha. Yeah, yeah.
It's I also think that as you get older, you become a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
safe. You you're a little less apt to take those chances. And when I really break it down, and I've had to do a lot of breaking down over the last few years of doing this, you it's really just your
Oh,
ego. It's
yes.
nothing more. Um, but we become safe, and like you said, you hunker down, you stay
Mm-hmm.
with what you know. So for you to start with Marie Forleo, I mean, she's out there. She is out there. So for you to be an introvert and start with Marie Forleo, hats off to you, because she is
Yeah.
crazy when it comes to social media. So what are some of the current challenges that you're facing?
I would say from right now, from a business perspective, it is going outside it is going outside my comfort zone right now because I feel like I've had some good success with the program so far. I
Mhm.
feel very comfortable, and it's putting the time in the day to do the audience building, to do the email list building.
Mhm.
That right now is it's and it's interesting when you talk about technology. Technology and I have made friends. So we're it does get easier for those, of your audience who that is overwhelming. I can guarantee you that that becomes easier. And I'm totally shocked, and I am not a technology person, but that just kept getting easier and easier for me and more exciting. The audience building I find challenging because it's outside my comfort zone a little bit. And I would actually do technology stuff instead of sit and put emails into my into my various, my
Right.
MailChimps and my Kartras and all of that. So I have to write that down every day. I have my daily one thing. So I set every day my journal page. I have, what am I grateful for? What is my intention for the day? And what is my dot? What is my daily one thing that is going to move me forward today? And email list is now, and you go through, let's say, a month of the same dot, and then you change it
Mhm.
up, and that is where it is right now. So it is a challenge because I guess I have resistance to it, and it is a challenge because I don't find it fun. But
Right.
it is an
Right.
absolute necessity. I tell you, when Facebook a couple of times last year, right, it was off for a little bit,
Mhm.
and I just went, okay, Lori, get your email list going now, smarten up. And so I did it for a while,
Mhm.
and then I kind of slept back a little bit.
Right.
But that would be, and that everything comes into that, right? That self-confidence, that's
Mhm.
focus. I'm in Ayurvedic speak from a yoga perspective. I'm a Vata, meaning next shiny object, right? I'm just bing, bing over here. So the
Right.
list building is can be tedious, and I get drawn everywhere. But I know this, so I have to write it down, and I have to have the small wins.
Um, with what you're just saying now, do you think that as now that you're in your 50s and you're doing this, and I know you do a lot of mindset work, and with your yoga, you're very in tune with your mind. Do you, for me, I feel that because of my previous experiences and knowing my shortcomings, that has allowed me and I think this is where my age is a benefit, has allowed me to say, okay, just like you said, my
Yeah.
dot, I know what my shortcoming is. And I actually posted it yesterday, or one of the days this week, as I posted, I'm having the same problem
Yes.
you are, is that right now it's
Yeah.
focus. And knowing that, I think, comes with age and comes with
Yeah.
experience. And I think, so with that being said, what are some things that you would say to someone who is sitting watching this video and who's got one foot in and one foot out, not sure what they're going to do? They've got an idea, but
Right.
they're, 48, and they're going, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say reach out. I would say reach out. Um, do some homework for sure. Start with and Facebook is my place to be. I'm not really on Instagram and that, but if you are on Instagram, whatever. But for me, it was really just starting to look and say, okay, so where are some groups? Where are some groups that can help me get going? And then what you'll
Mhm.
find is you're going to find your possibly your coach through here, because I think the groups and the coach, I'm trying to think how close. I think I started with the coach before I even started, right? Just do my own ideas because I thought, I guess I did have an idea, but I think partly because I'm a personal trainer as well, that the one-on-one, regardless of whether or not it's someone that knows more about gardening than I do, or someone that knows more about fitness, or someone that knows more about business, or parenting, I've done my one-on-one parenting, right? I was on teleclasses, I'm going to say 20 years ago when they were barely even starting yet. So I am
Wow.
a huge believer in I have the passion and I have the idea, but there's somebody else who has more, always more experience around drawing it out of me. And yeah, and
Gotcha.
having the experience and having the ability really to do that. And this is what a coach does. So that's, so however you go in for sure, right? Do your meditation, do your mind work, do your breath, start listening, noticing in the universe. Once you put your idea out there, things are coming in. You'll hear songs, a magazine will come in, you'll see an article, something will come into your news feed. So you're open to that. And then start making notes. Start journaling, write that down. What does that mean? Follow that pathway, and start practicing your idea. Start saying it out loud. Doesn't have to be to somebody else. Get your phone out. Use your audio. Start saying. So what I'm doing now is I'm, blah, 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 blah. You say that 100 times, and it just, you meet somebody and you have an opportunity, not that you're always selling, let's say, or always promoting, but you will have an opportunity. Someone will come in and ask you, well, oh, that's cool. What are you doing? And you've already practiced it 100 times, 200 times. Yeah. So lots to do mindset wise, as you say, um, before you even, yeah, I mean, can reach out in other ways as well. So you do go in first to come out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the action helps you get rid of the
Oh,
fear.
it's huge. Huge, right?
Yes.
You're so right, because you can be
Yes.
too in. Let's put it that way. Because oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I've been too in. I'm like in, and then I'm like, all right, someone's got to drag me out. Yeah.
well, it was funny. I was just on a phone call with a client a little while ago, and she said, "How do you just get on and do lives?" And I said, "Let me tell you, it was like 25 videos where I sat there and just kept
Yeah.
pushing play, and then I would erase and push play and erase. And I said, now I would much rather do a live than send an
Yes,
email
exactly. That's right.
or
Yeah.
do a post.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easier. So it does. It's all about taking that one step. And like you said, whatever that step is going to be each day to get you closer to
Yeah.
what your dream
Yeah.
is. So please tell us, and I will also post it when I post this. How can we find you
Okay.
if my audience is interested in
Okay,
Lorrie?
so you can go to lorriemichaelson.com. So it's LorrieMick. Yeah, you've got my
Mm-hmm.
name there, ELSON.com. Because I'm saying that
Okay.
because that is my business name. I do have my married name. So I have two personalities here, partly, not just two names. Um, so LorrieMichaelson.com. And then Women's Wellness Community. So that's my Facebook group. So even if you
Okay.
search that up, and then there's just a couple of questions to join in on there. It's very habit and routine based, and I do a live, like Joanne does here as well, on Wednesday afternoons, and then I'm on that page 3 times a week as well. So, and that connects to. Keeps you posted on my 3 courses a year that run seasonally in the fall, winter, and spring.
So just before we close, I'm curious about the seasonal
Yes.
part of it. I read that in your bio, and then you had mentioned it before, and I meant to ask that. So tell me about the seasons. I know you're so
Oh,
new
it
to
is.
this.
So right now, in Northern Ontario, because as Joanne and I were talking about, when it was cold
That's right.
and dark and rainy, I think it was what, 30 or what's that, 90 or something, and where you were? Yes, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're trying to, I'm putting a heating pad on my neck and my shoulders, and we're drinking tea, and Joanne's on my live going like in a tank top. So,
I'm like over here drinking iced tea.
so yes, in the northern, wherever you are in the world, in this, so I do recognize this as I come into my seasonal stuff. But and you guys are coming into this now, right? So it's cooler. It's definitely cooler
Hmm.
for you now. So in the Vata season right now in the fall, because and this is for everybody, as the light drops, what happens in general is our serotonin drops. So everything from food
Hmm.
cravings to sleep disturbances to increases in anxiety in the fall season, um, increase in pain as well. So this is all related to this drop in light and to serotonin. So wherever you are, because everybody in the world is affected by the changes in the light as we are in the moon and all of that. So in the fall season, my focus is very much as I bring a group together. Our focus is on sleep. Our focus is on eating food that is comfort food, that is warm, that is creamy, the soups and the stews. You're getting rid of the cold salads, you're getting rid of the raw vegetables. So your exercise is restorative and warming. So you take it from exercise to what you're doing. Your mindset is meditation because, again, we are turning inward. So everything, every part of your, let's say, your makeup in the season in the fall can be balanced with what's going on with the light, with the temperature, with the wind, with the dryness. In the winter, it's moisture that we're dealing with. In the spring, we're dealing with like detoxing or cleansing and all of that kind of stuff, getting rid of the winter sludge. And in the summer, we're talking about what do we do that cools us physically, mentally, spiritually, body, mind, spirit. And there are different, let's say, techniques and protocols for every season. And what that does is it allows us to go, you know what? I can change things up now. I do not have to stay, even lemon water. I don't suggest you stay with lemon
Oh,
water for 365 days a year. So there are certain seasons that you want to you're going to switch to lime in the spring, for example. So it gives you a chance
hmm.
to notice what's working, what's not working. What do you want to keep? Some stuff you will keep 365 days a year, but some stuff will just be seasonally. And you go, yay. I have no time to fit every single thing that is good for me into every single day, 365 days a year, and you don't have to. So that, in a nutshell, is
That's
that.
fascinating. As, it, and just so you know, it is raining and 46
Okay,
degrees here.
okay.
So that's, I don't know what that is
It
Celsius.
is
So it's
chilly. It
chilly
is,
here today.
yes,
It's
yes,
very chilly.
yes, yeah. So you are, yeah, get your
So,
tea.
okay, well, yes, absolutely. I started with my soup
Perfect.
yesterday. Um, so, Lorrie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and sharing your story and your thoughts on the seasons too. I find that so
That's cool.
fascinating. So I will post in the group how to reach
Okay.
out to you. And thank you. And we
That's
will
great.
chat
Thank you
soon.
so much, Joanne, for this opportunity. It was lots of fun. Mwah! Back at ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Best to you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.